on your camera, please be sure that you are in a sitting position. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hand over to our moderator right now. Please remain muted. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Eugene. Also, if you're logged in with your device name, do well to rename your device so we can identify you and call you by your name. There's going to be attendance at the end of the section as well. So expect that after the section, not during. Thank you all so much for joining. Mr. Stephen, are you ready for us? Can you unmute your mic? All right.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our own Business School Nigeria Business Leadership Development Program with the topic Strategic Leadership, Setting Visions and Strategic Goals. I mean, it promises to be an exciting one today, and I'm looking forward with the great personality we have in our midst this afternoon. So my name is Stephen Abba. I'm the head of financial inclusion at Aka Payments Limited. And it's my pleasure to moderate today's event, which brings, I mean, the great personality I mentioned today. And we're excited and just very, very anxious to hear from him. And today's guest is no other person, he's not a stranger to us, no other person than Dr. Humphrey Akanazu. He's the country director of Rome Business School, Nigeria. We all know him. I want to assume we all know him. And I'm just going to say a bit about him before I hand over to him to talk on this topic. So Dr. Humphrey Akanazu is the country director of Rome Business School, Nigeria. He's a researcher, a foreign direct investment consultant, linking foreign investors with their local counterparts in Nigeria. He's an experienced business development expert, educationist with a rich background of management, consultancy, training, and development. Humphrey has many years of hands-on experience in design, delivery, and coordination, facilitation, and administration of training and development initiatives in Nigeria and Nigerian major cities, as well as across Europe, America, Asia, and the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Henry also interviews and recruits for various companies in Nigeria. Dr. Akanazu is well experienced in entrepreneurship development, which he also practices through his numerous business partnerships with many reputable companies, schools, institutions, both foreign and local. He is the convener of the first annual Forum on Family-Owned Businesses in Nigeria in 2016, a project he realized partnering with Rome Business School, Italy, and Center for Value, CVL, where he introduced a family business education model for Nigerian-owned businesses. He hosts series of seminars on family businesses and succession planning. A psychologist, Dr. Humphrey has worked as a researcher at the Interface of Psychology, Spain in 2011, where he presented part of his research work on quality assurance methodology in entrepreneurship education and long life learning. He has also attended many conferences and congresses on education and psychology across America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. He has published many articles on entrepreneurship in major international journals, and he also authored the book Love, Myth, and Stage, An Introduction to Classical Culture. Dr. Akanazu's entrepreneurial skills is demonstrated in his ability to start the Rome Business School in Nigeria from scratch and built it to the level of international visibility, especially within Africa. He's currently the country director of Rome Business School, Nigeria. And I mean, Doctor, it's good to have you. Welcome to this workshop. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Victor. Good afternoon, all. I welcome you especially to this little interaction where you talk of, excuse me, strategic leadership, setting vision and goal and strategic goals. It's not something we can, if we really want to grab something from it. It's not something we can just do within the few minutes, we have. But I believe I can give you people something to go home with, maybe spur some thoughts, and then, of course, you can read more. During the question and answers, we can as well expose some aspects that need more clarifications. But this topic is a very important topic for every professional and entrepreneur in any part of the world, but most especially for us Nigerians. And I'm going to be using my personal story to back some of these things up. So we're talking of strategic leadership or transformational leadership. For me, there is no difference between these two. One leads to the other. So a strategic leader is basically a transformational leader, because what you do in strategy transforms the company to the end goal for which that company is being established. So being a strategic leader also, at the end of it all, makes you a transformational leader. So I'll just give a little definition based on thoughts we can read from various books. So strategic leadership is the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, and empower others to create strategic change as necessary. There are two important nomenclatures or words here. Empowering others, and change. Very, very important. The next definition could be, because of the complex and often global orientation of the jobs, strategic leaders must learn how to effectively influence human behavior in an uncertain environment. This is where empower and the change also come in. But we are going to look at some elements of this behavior of the peoples, of how this strategic leader, should think, should act, and what it can lead to. And then transformational leadership entails motivating followers to do more than is expected, to continuously enrich their capabilities and to place their organization's interests above their own. So you see, there is no much difference. We are talking about someone who is leading others here. Of course, someone leading others with some instruments, with some management skills. So that's why I said both the strategic leader and the transformational leader, they're almost the same. There's no difference between them. But we are here to talk about strategic leadership. Before we go into the objectives, a leader does not operate alone. We all know that. If you follow the Nigerian, not just Nigerian political system, all the nations' political system, even organizational systems, once a president is appointed, or once a manager or an executive is appointed, he chooses his team. So the president chooses his ministers. These are his team, and is a critical and important activity. You need to be very, very careful to choose your team, and you must choose your team based on those who are capable and will be very much convinced on your vision and values. So of course, we get to the point where we will talk about the characteristics, the individual characteristics of this leader and their organizational abilities. So this leader, of course, you need to have something that makes you who you are as a person, something that drives you, and this must come from you, and it is from here you can now diffuse and influence the environment, which is the organization where you operate. And for you to be able to do this, you must choose the right team. Sometimes, not just sometimes, most of the times it is difficult to choose the right team. And it is also difficult, to discover yourself, because you need to also discover yourself. We are talking about the leader now. To discover yourself, of course, it's something you need time to do. I don't want to dwell much. It's like I'm going psychological now. But we are talking of a person, a human being. And this human being is going to manage people who will drive an organization to its success. So whatever that person does will represent his convictions, his beliefs, and how people can, understand him, people can follow him. So the strategic leadership provides the vision, direction, the purpose for growth, and context for the success of the corporation. It also initiates outside the box thinking to generate future growth. Strategic leadership is not about micromanaging business strategies. We all know what that means. When you don't choose the right team and the KPIs or the vision, the objective,
Okay, so I think the network, no, he's been logged out by the network. So we're trying to reach out to him to call him back, to call his attention. All right, let's be patient. He'll be joining us shortly. Okay, so for those asking of the slides, be sure to stay to the end so you can fill in the attendance. We'll be using the attendance form to send out the slide. Okay. All right, Dr. Humphrey, you're welcome. Hello, Doc, can you hear us? You're muted.
You need to unmute me. Okay, good. Sorry about that interruption. I was thrown out by the internet. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good, 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 good. So we were at the strategic leader defining his vision or her vision, and also choosing her team. So I was saying that it's the individual we are talking about here. And of course, there is need to choose your team well, define the objectives, choose your goals, and be very firm in them, and make sure that the team understands these things very well, so that there will be no issue of micromanaging, the business strategy. Because if they don't know, you will do it yourself and you get overwhelmed. So once these things are done, it provides the umbrella under which businesses, devise appropriate strategies and create value. So we'll be looking at, the mission statement, vision, the strategy, and then we will look at the goals. I will be very, very, how would I put it? I'm not going to be direct in my explanation, but I want to go deep into using some skills and some thoughts that will define some of these things so that we understand them very well. Simple languages that will make us understand, help us understand, when we talk about mission statement, strategy, goals, and objectives. So strategic leadership answers two questions, actually. When I finished my studies in Europe, and I wanted to come back to Nigeria, and I thought about what I want to do in Nigeria. And of course, I told myself I want to be in the educational space, like 100%, A to Z. I don't want to be a trader. I don't want to be a real estate this or a banker, but I want to be in the educational space, A to Z. Then I asked certain questions. To be a leader in the educational sector, what do I need to do? One thing one of my professors told me was, you are going to the third world developing country, and they respect title a lot because she has been in Africa before. And then she told me, you need to get your PhD. So preparing me, we are talking about the leader here. She outlined some of the qualifications I needed to get and certain things I needed to do. And I did them just to prepare the person. And there was something I did in 2011 that shaped exactly what I want as a person before I even delved into what I am doing right now. She told me to write 100 things I want in life, 100 things I want in life, because I really needed to set my goals clear as a person. Because if you cannot set your own goals clear, if you cannot have a clear vision, how can you now set a vision for an organization? So she told me, go and write 100 things that you want in life. Whether they are stupid or good, whatever it is, just write them down. I started writing 100 things I want in life. By the time I got to 30, I couldn't know what to write again. I started writing things like, I want to give so many people from my town scholarship. I want to build this school. I want to do this. I want, things that are so intangible and they look unrealistic. But actually, those are the things I really wanted to do. So eventually, when I passed the 30th thing I want to do in life, everything started flowing. And finally, I wrote 110 things I want to do in life. And then Road Business School was one of it. In fact, I wrote that I wanted to get my PhD in 2016, but I was supposed to graduate in 2015. So it was as if what I wrote was now working against me. So instead of defending my PhD in 2015, they postponed it to 2016. I eventually defended my PhD in 2016. When I looked at what I wrote, and I saw that I wrote that I want to defend my PhD in 2016. So what am I saying? When you write such things down, there is this force that responds to it. And that is how it works in an organization. So when your vision is strong, it begins to translate in reality. So these two questions, what and how? What? By providing the vision and direction, creating the context for growth. Your vision has to be very clear. Once your vision is clear, you'll be able to discover your direction. But how? How? When the vision of Moses, let me use the man called Moses because he's also always sometimes used as a leader. When he got the vision of leading the people of Israel out of Egypt, the question was how? That was the question he always asked. Of course, he has the vision, but then how? How possible? How? So by sketching out a roadmap for the organization that will allow it to unleash its full potential, the leader will do this by creating the operations portfolio. It's not a child's play here. Determining what businesses should be there, what the performance requirements of the business are, and what types of alliances make sense. And by defining the means, that's the culture, values, and way of working together needed to achieve corporate vision and goals. Let me tell you, the space where we are into today, I mean the educational space, of course, every business has its own characteristics, but in services, people buy your services based on trust. And I remember when we started, there was this, how would I put it? I wouldn't call it fear. It wasn't fear, but worry and concern that, there are big players in the market. How do we even make ourselves known? So these big players, they are partnering with this big company. They are, they know this big company. They have this big company on their website, all of that. And there was something. There was this Italian businessman, Romano Pisciotti. He told me something. Doc, start from the small ones. Start from those small, easy ones that make sense to what you really want to achieve. When the big ones see that you are even relating with these small ones, they will start believing in your capacity, in your ability. So I had to design with my team, identify the companies, the accreditations, the organizations that we will begin to partner with in order to create that visibility and conviction and trust in the environment we are coming into. So you need to understand what the kind of alliances you really want. So different businesses have their different characteristics. These things need to be very well defined. So when you do these things, of course, answer this question, have your team, understand yourself very well, then we can now start talking about the organization. Because the leader himself needs to really be built, needs to understand himself. I used to tell my employees that there are 4 things you need to do as a professional, as a leader, if you want to be successful in the business world, or if you want to be successful as a professional. There are four things. You have to show capacity. You have to, you start from trust. Number 1 thing is trust. Let me tell you why number 1 thing is trust. Nobody can do business with you if they don't trust you. Nobody. So you need to show trust first of all. You need to make the people understand that, oh, they can do business. So your first interaction with people, you need to build that. You need to show them that. And that is what can bring them back to you to do business. When they start doing business with you, you need to show competence. You need to show competence. It is that your competence that will convince them that I am actually doing something with someone who knows his onions. The third is capacity. When you are competent, you know that you will be able to connect with a lot of people. You'll be able to connect with a lot of stakeholders. They will know your competence, they will know your abilities and all of that. And before you know it, you will have a very huge network. It is that your network that will show your capacity. And at that stage, where your capacity, where you can show capacity, that is when you are hired, not as a manager. You'll be hired as a CEO, as an executive, and the money they will be paying you will not be for the operations or the technical things that the managers do, but they will be paying you based on your profile, based on your visibility, because it is your visibility that is bringing businesses to the company. So that's what they will be paying you for. So you need to build that capacity. Leave money first. Leave money first. Leave money. So you need to build values around yourself that will bring that money. And that's why Gordon Segal will say, successful businesses have to be driven, have to be mission driven, not profit driven. If you are doing business, if you want to start a business because of the profits in it, you will be derailed. You will not be able to define values that people will like or will love, will desire to make them buy your offers, and then you make profit. So businesses have to be mission-driven, not profit. That's the first thing you need to have at the back of your mind. Of course, companies, there are 3 things companies need to do in setting their vision. And one of these is to discover, what do we belong to? What do we belong to? Talks about the value, answers the question about the value. So, of course, the value comes from the conviction of that person. We are talking of this individual, this personality, the convictions of this person. Why? What do you believe in? Why do you want to do this business? What are you expecting? What do you really want to offer? What are your beliefs? So you really need to be very much convinced of your values, this thing you're offering. I used to tell my salespeople that if you are not convinced of the master's program you're selling to students, how would you sell it? How would you not sell it? You're not convinced of Rome Business School, Nigeria. You're working here. So how would you convince someone to come to Rome Business School? So you're telling somebody something you don't even believe in, you are not convinced of. So you first of all be convinced of what you are offering. So that conviction is the uncompromising values and beliefs for which you are willing to fight, and it must define what you stand for. Remain in place even if they become competitive disadvantage. This is, it sounds somehow here, even if they become competitive. So why should I remain in this, my conviction? Reason being that, for instance, when we wanted to, start our own business school, the conviction was that we have a lot of professionals in Nigeria, businessmen, who want this high quality education, but they don't want to leave their work. They don't want to leave their businesses to get this. They want to still remain in Nigeria and still get the same quality education that those who travel abroad get, and at a cheaper rate. Because if you travel abroad, of course, you need to pay for the transportation, for the housing, for there are a lot of things you need to pay for. But you can stay in the comfort of your country, Nigeria, and at your workplaces or in your house, and attend this program and get the same value and even more. So there are professionals, there are people like this in Nigeria, and we want to give them this service. That was a conviction that came to us, and we said, okay, how do we go about this? So even if, for instance, everybody wants to japa, we still remain in it, because we believe that whether you like it or not, there are still people who want this kind of model, and it serves them. Even those who want to japa after programs, they can speak japa. So you need to if your conviction, if your values are right, I believe you will be very strongly convinced in them. So be pursued with relentless honesty. And it's not just, we are not just doing it because we want to make money. It is a concern. I studied abroad, and I know what it takes to study abroad. So it is a conviction that was real, honest, and strong. It must embody what you truly believe, not what you think you should believe. So imagine I came back, I didn't go to London to get a school from London or from US or from Canada or wherever. The school I attended, so Road Business School is the school I attended. So I'm convinced, I believe in it. And of course, this is what we are offering, is this conviction that makes the business work, sustained, and it's visible, and everybody is seeing it. So it must be authentically and visibly reflect your life. Like I told you people earlier, I said I cannot trade. I'm from the Southeast. Many of us are into trading. I can't trade. It's not my calling. I can't be in the real estate. I can't even be in the banking system. This is my life. It reflects my life. So if you look at my qualifications and the places I have worked, that's what I do. So if you really want to be a real strategic leader, everything you do should reflect your personality. Stay consistent regardless of the market life cycles, technological breakthroughs, and management fads. I can take you back to 2020 during the pandemic. So many people thought that some schools will go into extinction. But of course, we immediately swung into action. Let me tell you a story. When we started, so many students didn't want to attend online classes. Many Nigerians, they know, I want to be physical. I want where I will be going to class. People were not accepting this online thing before the COVID. We tried so many times to switch to online, to have online classes, but we are getting more of on campus. But when the technology changed, because we were doing on campus, we didn't relax, we didn't relent. We immediately identified what it needed to take to also have this change implemented in the school. And today, our online students are even more than the on-campus students. So believed out by both you and your team. And this is one thing I have also tried to do so far. You know, when I employ, have any new recruit, I'll be the first to talk to him, to tell him the story of Rome Business School, Nigeria, Rome Business School, Italy, the vision, our culture and everything, before I start releasing that employee to other departments to be inducted. So you need to make your team understand your vision, understand your goals, understand your story. And of course, your conviction translates in your behavior, and behaviors are observable actions that demonstrate a leader's lived out convictions. So our behaviors must set the standard for your actions, clearly demonstrate what's expected, clearly define what you expect from others and what they can expect from you. Set the foundation for your culture. So, you know, we have talked a lot about conviction. It is what you are convinced in that, you know, automatically and unconsciously plays out in your behavior, in how you react to things. And then between, at the end of conviction and behavior is purpose. Of course, your conviction and your behavior will be tending towards something, and that is purpose. And purpose is the fundamental reason for your existence as a business, the motivational force that drives you. And the purpose must define the reason for your corporate existence, reflect your motivation for doing your work, capture the soul of your convictions, provide the answer to the question, why do you do what you do? And always be more meaningful than merely making a profit, like we said earlier. So what is the purpose of your business? If you are able to define these things, of course, you are setting your goal, and you are eventually defining what do we belong to? What is our conviction? How do we react to these convictions? And this conviction and our reaction, our behaviors, of what purpose? Of what purpose? Now, having looked at what do we belong to, I said we are going to look at three things in setting vision and goal. The next thing is, who are we going to become? Of course, we have discovered the goal, the purpose for which we have, you know, defined our convictions and our culture, you know, our organizational culture, the way we behave, the way we see things, you know, the vet and shine. We have defined all these things, and we know our purpose for existence. We know why we are existing. Rome Business, we are existing because, of course, we want to build better managers for a better world. We want to build global business leaders. We want to be the most attended business school in Africa and beyond. So who are we going to become? So you must have a picture. Who are we going to become professionally, personally, by investing our valuable time in this organization? We are talking about two entities here. And this is where most organizations make mistake. You know, the organization is not all about one entity. And when I talk about entities, I mean the organization itself and the people. So the organization cannot always be looking at how we want to, of course, better the brand, how we want to make more money, how we want to do this, how we want to do that. Everything is about the organization. Some people are employed to execute these things. And you have to, in your strategic planning, in your visioning, you need to put into consideration the development of those, because everybody has his or her own aspiration, just like the organization. So you need to also capture these things in your plan so that the same person will make sure that his personal values, his personal vision is aligned to the overall organization. And when this thing is done, you are on a smooth ride. So this part of your vision tells the colorful story of what you and the organization will become, and it paints the picture of what the organization could have looked like during its early years of formation. So as a strategic leader, there are two personalities here. This statement is talking about two personalities. So before any organization appoints maybe an MD or a leader, you know, they go through a lot of consultations and they consider some of these things. You don't make a leader someone that does not understand the story of the organization, someone that cannot put himself back during the formation of the organization. So if I was here when we had only one classroom, if I was here when we had only one student or two students, will I be able to continue to work with this organization? Will I be able to continue to grow this organization? Or will I say, oh, let me go? When they start having a lot of students and they are growing, then I can come. You can translate it into other organizations. So here we are talking about two personalities. The one who is the visionary, or the one who started that organization, who knows the real story of the organization and who understands. Of course, he's the visionary. Okay, that's one person. The other person is someone that is appointed to drive this organization. But that person will now have to paint a picture of the formation, the story, the history of the organization, which will be a basis for him to be able to carry that vision and work with it as if it is his or her own. So these are two personalities. And you need to ask yourself, which one are you in the organization where you are today? Are you the founder? Are you the visionary? Or are you appointed, employed and appointed? So these are the things you need to check. If you don't have this picture of where you started and where you are going, you won't be able to drive the organization to its growth. So you need to paint the vivid picture you create should answer questions such as this. Who will our team become in the years ahead? Of course, you know, when organizations start sometimes, the people that started the organization, the employees, may not even be the ones that will run it when the organization grows big. If you have one or two or three people who have stayed and remained with you right from start till when the organization has grown, those people are heroes. Those people are care. I have some people like that in Rome Business School, Nigeria. And these people for me are like heroes. It's not everybody that would want to stay in the organization in the early stages when things are not really going fine. So, and you need to think about, okay, what kind of people are we bringing in the future? And what kind of people do we want to have based on the people we have today? That is where formation, that is where the, what I said about those people's aspirations have to be, you know, remember, have to be considered. So if you don't build them, by the time you get to that level, you will not start seeing them as these guys cannot, they won't be able to run this organization. And it's not good. You start looking for better people outside when you were not able to capture and consider the personal aspirations of these people who know the story of the organization. So you need to, as a leader, the people you are working with now, you need to also picture in the future what kind of people team do you want to have, do you want to build in the years ahead? And that will help you to start grooming these people, to be that team you want to have in the future. Unless maybe any of them, maybe one or two of them don't want to continue. What will our brand be known for? These are questions to ask. What kind of experience will our clients have? How will we impact the communities in which we operate? How will we attract and develop talent? I said it earlier. How will we share our profits? What will our technology and systems enable us to do? Some of these questions are very critical. They might sound somehow irrelevant. For instance, how will we share our profit? Are we talking about profit here? But let me tell you, organizations have been destroyed, have been, have gone into extinction when profits are not well shared or taken care of among the directors and all of that, and even the employees, because if you include the employees in the profit share, of course, we know that it motivates. So these are some strategic decisions we have to make and put in place in order to drive this organization to its growth and sustainability. Still, what are we going to? Okay, now the third thing we need to consider in seeing your vision, because it's what are we going to build? What kind of organization are we going to build? Effective leadership means effective storytelling. If you call me anytime in the day, any date, and ask me to tell you the story of Rome Business School, Nigeria, I will close my eyes and I will tell you the story. It's not why we are here today. So if a leader cannot tell a colorful story, and when I mean colorful story, it's not a story that is fake or just trying to impress people. Colorful story involves how the challenges you have, how you scaled through the challenges. Those years you felt like pulling out, those years you felt like, oh man, you can't go ahead again, and then eventually, because of your doggedness, your consistency, persistency, and everything, you scaled through and you came out, wow, victorious and all that. So those are the colorful, stories. And then if you have passed through all these challenges and you have gotten to this level, what can you leverage on based on the experiences you have had so far to make it bigger, to create more values, to create more impact on people, on the environment where you are, and if you want to think about money, of course, make more profits. So first, define your compelling ambitions. What is your ambition? Let me tell you something. In corporations, if you are forming a business, okay, and of course in limited liabilities or businesses where it is not a sole proprietorship, where you have partners, people have their different ambitions in forming businesses. Some people are interested in making impact, in creating values, while some people are interested in the money, in the profits they make. Are you getting it? So if you're a smart person, you need to understand the ambitions of the people you partner with, you work with, so that you will be able to know how to manage them when you go to board meetings. Okay? So, and you need to also understand how your ambition can affect the business positively and also affect you positively. Because in the long run, if the majority of the people in the business are solely profit-oriented, the business will have a problem. So if I want to form a business and I have 2 or 3 people coming in, and majority of them are just after money, I will withdraw. because we are here to create values. It is this value that will actually bring the money. So if we don't create, if we don't have that motivation, if we don't have that consciousness to create values that people will like, that will impact on people, how are we going to make this money we are going to share in the first place? And when you are forming your team, when you are recruiting, I usually, for instance, when I recruit, I usually ask people, what do you really want to be in life? You know, what do you want to be? Are you just coming because you're looking for a job? Do you like to work in the educational space? Or, you know, like, I want to know what you really want to be. I know if it aligns to the vision and goal of the organization. In that case, if it aligns, then I know that you are going to stay with me for a long time unless something happens along the way. Okay, so it helps to form the team. Commit to a daunting challenge. Of course, the goals, those goals that feel so compelling and looks so far out that accomplishing them will require your team to stretch and work harder and smarter than ever before. This is ambition. They form the ambitions you need to inculcate in your team members, and they must commit to a daunting challenge, not merely to a reasonable goal. So a goal could be reasonable, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have substance. All right? Substance in the sense that why should I as an employee, or why should I as a partner or as a team member work with this goal? Everybody is created. God created everybody with what we call self-preservation, me, self, before others. So it is natural. So when you are, of course, setting goals, you have to as well consider, like I said earlier, the individual aspirations of the people you are working with. Otherwise, they will put sand in your garri, you know. So it's not merely a reasonable, intelligently constructed goal, but something that has substance, that benefits everybody. It must sound clear and compelling. Of course, your team members must see the possibility, something that is realizable, not just that you went to, you know, when we are told to write a business plan, we go and copy something from books and then put there. It's not the business plan. The business plan should represent your conviction, what you really want to offer, what you are convinced will work. You know, so it's not an intellectual, activity. It must unify focal points of effort, become a catalyst for the team spirit, furnish a clear finish line so your team can know when it has achieved the goal. You can't leave your team members in the dark. If they have achieved the goal, they should know, and they should also see a clear picture of achieving the goal. I used to have some sales guys, of course, if they come the first month, second month, 3 months, they are not enrolling any student. They become demotivated, and the next thing I know, that person will leave. But when I started defining clearly, listen, if you really want to make money by being a seller, this is the strategy. This is how you need to work. These are the things you need to do in order to get this. And they look at it, and it's something that will work. I tell my guys, say, listen, guys, this year, this is what we are going to do. We are expecting to do this enrollment, this number of enrollments, okay? But we need to set the strategies. Each department will write their strategies. We define, we look at it, review it, and make sure that these things are realizable. Of course, like I said, how? So how are we going to realize it? Make sure that we have defined step by step, activities that will take us to this. And that is why, every year you see the numbers of students increasing, because these things are taking time. We take our time to design the goal and then objectives and the activities that follow. So your team needs to be very clear that this thing is workable. If it is not clear to them, it will look fake. It will look like, we are just talking. It has to be tangible, concrete, and highly focused. When everybody knows that this thing is realizable and this amount of money you're promising me is also realizable, everybody will work towards it. So don't make a promise thinking that you want to impress them, then at the end of the day, it's not realizable. You may just have them for a couple of months, or years, and the organization is gone. And all these things, the bottom line is sustainability. When the visions are well defined, the goals, objectives are well defined, you're talking about sustainability. In October, starting this October 2024, the next intake, we have a master's program we call sustainability management. It has become now a global need. Most business schools now are doing sustainability management. And we also thought that it should be good if we bring it to Rome Business School, Nigeria. And we have it as one of the master's programs. So we're talking about sustainability here. So having said that, let's look at vision and leadership effectiveness. All right, someone can set the vision and another person carries out the vision. And someone can also set the vision and be the one leading the vision. So how does this work? Vision and leadership effectiveness. Where there is no vision, we remember this Proverbs 29, verse 18. I got this from King James Version. Where there is no vision, the people perish, is a popular saying. Therefore, of course, there should be a vision here. And if that vision, like we've been talking about since, is clear, everybody has understood it, everybody has, imbibed it, it has become part of them, it is easier to appoint a leader from the team members that will be effective in leading the vision. Otherwise, the visioneer can take time. Of course, these things take time. These things take time. When we started, I'm still here as the country director, not because we don't have maybe one of the team members that can, lead the vision. But of course, organizations grows, and very soon, of course, we will have very powerful structures that will now translate this, how would I put it, this building, these developmental stages that we have passed through in building leaders, is going to happen very soon. So organizations, they grow, it starts from the visioneer, the founder, and then he continues to inculcate it, build people, build until they are very much, how would I put it, confident and knowledge about the vision and comfortable with it, and then they can run with it. So we are still talking about these two personalities, the person that starts it and leading, and the person that did not start it but is appointed to lead. So regardless of how many leaders an organization may have, if those leaders lack vision, if they cannot see a very specific, brighter tomorrow in their role, I said it earlier, then they are only managers. I made some mistakes as a manager, as a leader, during the process of growth. And one of those mistakes, will I call it mistakes, or probably I didn't have that structure yet. I remember an employee that resigned, and when I asked him why he resigned, he said he wanted a place where he will grow. So he wanted growth. He didn't see a future, his future here. And I asked him, what do you mean by future or, growth? So he now looked at, okay, after this, my position, all right, what next for me? So he has already calculated the cadre that, one needs to climb to get to a certain position, and he didn't see that. And that time we have not really, this we are the early stages. We have not really structured this, the cadres, the leadership positions very well, and he didn't see it, so he left, and that rang a bell to me. So people, if they cannot see a brighter tomorrow in their role, it's not just about money. If you can keep someone somewhere in a particular way and pay him every year, you increase it. So at a point, money will not be a problem for him. No, money will not be what he's looking for. So he wants to, be part of, have some strategic roles to play. Wants to have something, bigger in terms of responsibility, new challenges. Those things are exciting. If these things are not there, then they are only managers, machineries. They can leave your company and go to another, they become manager. But at the same time, both the organization and the manager or the employee or the team member have work to do, because if you don't develop yourself, if you don't aspire as a person to do more, to align to the vision of the company, to make the directors, the owners of the company you are working in understand that you are like one of them. You are like the owner of the company, that you make the company like your own. If you are not in their good book, I don't mean that you are worshiping them, but you are working as if this is your company. They can't entrust the company to you. You have to show that aspect of ownership, and that makes you have that leadership potentials and possibilities. Okay, so most mistakes founders make is thinking that because this person is very perfect in operation, what he does, you not think him to be a leader without considering certain things that surround leading an organization. There is a difference that this person is very good itself, is very good in this technical aspect, and this person can lead the emotions, can lead the entire organization. It's not just employees. You don't make a leader. A leader is not just one that every other employee loves or is clapping for, or that appreciates. So you're not just leading the employees in the company, you're leading other stakeholders. For instance, in Road Business School, you're leading the employees, the students, the faculty members, the partners, the people outside Nigeria. So a whole lot. So you must develop these characteristics and organizational ability that can contend and manage the interests and expectations of these people. That is what leadership is all about. You can be a leader in your small cocoon as a manager in your department, but leading an organization is a different thing. And founders always think very, very critically before they choose one. Vision has to start, of course, at the very top. Why? Because if everybody is bringing vision, then you didn't plan to start a business. You will form a cacophony of visions that will lead to confusion, no direction, and destruction. So there should be a vision, a visionary. And then whatever happens to the vision, sometimes the vision may not be very clear, but it's there. The conviction is there. And then people around you can now help you to fine-tune and hone the vision to be more realistic and to be implementable. Still on vision and leadership effectiveness, not all managers have the capacity to become effective strategic leaders. I said it earlier. Furthermore, it may be that strategic leadership skills, first, can be analyzed as a hierarchy in which manager must master lower level skills before they fine-tune higher level skills, as illustrated in the following levels from the book, this book, Good to Great by Jim Collins. So Jim Collins has steps, levels of, skills as a manager or an employee must reach in order to get to the, level of leadership. So I have it here. I start from a highly capable individual, contributing team members, competent managers, effective leader, and then the executive. Let's look at this. I hope I still have time. So level one, the highly capable individual. We all know that the most basic skills for becoming a capable individual are developing skills and a strong work ethic. These are the basic skills, employees at their entry level, you need to have. Of course, during the recruitment, during interviews, these are the things you are looking at. What skills do they have? First of all, this person does not know the culture of the organization. So what you are, even the job you want to give him, in your organization, even if is sales, but there is a way you guys do your sales. There is a way you talk to your own clients. The product knowledge may not, it may be the same. You're selling a bottled water, but the way A sells its own bottled water will be different. So those are the cultural aspects of the organization. So what you're looking at first is, can I work with this person? His attitude, what kind of ethics does he respect? And the skills he have. So sometimes we give candidates a checklist to tick certain things that we want to know about them. So this is a stage of enculturation and induction, for new employees. So you're looking for highly capable individuals to induct and train on the job, or include in the team. Level two, contributing team members. Not all team members are willing to contribute. That is basic. That is natural. Everybody must not be the same. So a person must be able to work effectively in teams and make useful contributions to the achievement of the team goals. This is where you create goodwill. So, and that is where it starts. This particular person that brings solutions, that brings suggestions, that is interested in the company, at the same time he's doing his job well, what will he be telling you? This is a potential leader. Why some people are there, I beg, make this month to finish, make I collect my job. Some people say, you will tell them to do something. They send you a mail and tell you that this is not in my KPI. But he is right. That person is 100% right. So he does his job that is in his KPI, and at the end of the day, you pay him what you guys agreed. Can you make such person a leader? No. So leaders, of course, need to also create themselves. So the level three is competent manager. Of course, who is the team, the person that is contributing, that is, willing to sacrifice, willing to commit, willing to dedicate. You wouldn't stop at anything in making the person competent, training him. If there are high level, competency, how would I put it, training or opportunities, those are the people you pick. And they continue to grow. They continue to be competent. And where is it leading them? Leadership. Once the two lower level skills are mastered, competent management comes from the ability to organize people and the resources so as to achieve organizational objectives. So this person is living from just being a mere member to a manager of a department to, leading the entire organization. And that makes an effective leader. So not all competent managers are effective leaders. Of course, leadership entails the ability to articulate a clear strategic intent and motivate followers to high level of performance. I want to give an example, but without any specific location or entity or individual. Somebody might be very, very competent, but he is selfish. Okay, he thinks about himself. You see some people that they know how to do this. They are working in a team, but they prefer to keep the knowledge to themselves in order to shine. And team members come to them for help. They wouldn't want to help. They will rather want you to fail in your department or in your KPI, what you do, so that they can shine, so that they can come out very clear without knowing that if this other person fails, if this department fails, or if this other person fails, it will affect the entire organization's growth, or it will slow it down, or something wrong happens. So he's only interested in bringing himself, to the, how would I put it, to the fore, so that people will see him as the best. Such a person is selfish. So he's competent, he's doing his job perfectly well, but does he have that organizational ability? Can he be a leader that can control everything about the growth of the organization? Can he manage the sustainability of the organization? Of course not. So when you bring two people, see, this person is competent, this person is, if somebody might even be highly competent and this person is just competent, but he has that organizational ability. What do? He has some individual characteristics that translates to empathy, to how, that manages people's interests, beyond his own interest. So there are a lot of things that organizations look at before they choose a leader. Then, of course, the executive. These are people with unwavering resolve to lead their companies to greatness. Frequently they are humble, attributing success to the team they have assembled, rather focusing on their own personal achievements. Just what I have said before now. A level 5 leader might also be called a transformational leader. So that's why I said, when we started, I said, these two things, strategic leader and transformational leader, they are the same. One leads to the other. So if a leader, a strategic leader, a leader has done, followed these processes, strategically, it can only take him to the other end, which is transformational leadership. So he's a transformational leader, and that is what every business wants. Every business wants a transformational leader, every business wants to be on top, and a transformational leader is one that can, take your business from where it is to the next level. That's what we are looking for. I want to use this model of strategic leadership to define that person we call a leader. Like I've been talking about organizational ability, individual characteristics. I will not dwell, I'll just talk about them because we don't have much time. Yeah. The organizational ability includes, this leader can configure strategic orientation, translate strategy into action, okay? Build alignment, determine effective intervention points, develop strategic competencies, team that will help him to achieve the organizational goal. But like I said earlier in the beginning, this same person who is an individual must have something that is his own, that is coming from him as a person, not that he's a country director of Rome Business School or country or manager or MD of this bank. But this is how this person is. This is his personality. This is how, this is his characteristics. He's restless. I remember when Dr. Austin of blessed memory, most of you know him, in 2021, we had some movements we did about Rome Business School. Each time he calls me in the night or chats me anytime I'm available, I'm awake, and I said, Dr. Humphrey, you are a restless boy. You are a restless boy. And I laughed. I said, I've not gotten to where I want to get to. So I have to be restless. So restlessness, because you have not achieved or gotten to where you want to get to. You're always ideating, you're always innovating, you want to, new things. Absorptive capacity. And if I dwell into this, it's going to take us a whole lot of time. It's more psychological than we are looking at it. You must be able to absorb shocks, challenges, a lot of things, humiliation, a lot. You have to be able to, sometimes look and let go so that you will be able to maintain that consistency that will lead you to the end where you want to. Because if you are not able to do this, you can take some actions out of anger, miscalculations, and then it can either delay you getting to the end or you won't even get to the end. It's very, very important. Patience, adaptive capacity. Adaptive capacity, you need to have that. So it's not only in the organizational setting, but as a person. As a person, are you able to adapt to different changes, different situations in your life? That will help you, to adapt, because you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with a small society. That is the organization, and human beings are there with their tantrums. So you need to be very, very adaptive, and then wisdom. Wisdom is the mother of all of them. So I want to, go, okay, strategic leaders, let's dwell much on this leaders' ability to translate strategy into action. What Tichy and Shaman, I love this part, put forward as a stage process that strategic leaders are able to undertake, the components of which are awakening, envisioning, re-architecturing. I said it earlier when I talked about the two personality. Okay, the one that starts knows the story, when they started, and then where they are going. And the one that, of course, understands the vision and is appointed, but has to put himself in the picture of the early stage and formation of the organization. So awakening. The awakening stage involves building an agreement with the organization that a continuation of the current way of working is inadequate if it wants to be effective in the future. Of course, why should I bring a leader in an organization that is already performing well, that we know the person that is piloting the organization is taking it, has been effective and is taking it to a greater height and all of that. So what will this person come in what is he coming to do? Do you understand? Unless that person has something new he has to do that will supersede what we already have. So this may involve process described by Davis of enhancing participation and motivation to understand the necessity for this change through strategic conversations is very, very important. I don't want to dwell into this. Will take us to managing change in the organization. Conversations is very, very important where you want to manage change. So this awakening stage involves building an agreement with the existing team, to agreeing to where we want to go to based on what is the realities on ground now. The next thing is envisioning. That will help you to build a clear and understandable picture of what is the new way of operating looks like, so that you'll be able to achieve that goal. So, of course, if you are doing the same thing the same way, you wouldn't be expecting to get a different result. And then that will now take you to re-architecture. Once this has been completed, then the new architecture will emerge and be the organizational basis for action. Let me go to the personal characteristics. Okay, I've explained it, and then I think I have concluded my presentation, and I will be waiting for questions and answers. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor. This was quite insightful and interesting. I mean, from the feedbacks we've been getting, and we're excited. I mean, we've learned a lot. And for me, I think one of the major takes from here is to, value comes from conviction, which is key for every business person. So, I mean, you have to be convinced in whatever you're doing before you're able to pitch or sell it out to other individuals. And I'm sure a lot of people have gotten quite a number of insightful thoughts from this session. So just due to time, we'll quickly go to get one or two questions from the guys, and then in the next couple of minutes, we'll wrap up. So let me start with Atume Philip. Your hand is up. Please go ahead. Let's have your question. Philip, can you hear us? Okay, Philip.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Quickly, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for this session. And my question goes this way. Considering the example Dr. Akanazu gave in the area of his slide vision, he talked about making a team member see a brighter future. And that he also gave an example of his staff that left the organization, which is a very good example considering what he was trying to say. So my question is, how do you make a team member see a brighter future? And if for such example, if he is to convince that staff not to go, because he actually said there was a mistake actually, and if he's to convince that staff not to go, what would have been that brighter future?
Okay, I think we've lost Philip. He's muted now. I'm not, Doctor, I'm not sure if we got the whole of that question. But I think from what
No, continue. Right.
Okay, so I think he was trying to ask what would you do to keep a staff? I mean, how do you convince a staff of a brighter future in his current place of work than letting that person go? I got it to that point. I don't know if you want to react, or I just pick three more questions before you react to everything.
It's a very, very important question, okay? And it is, setting a structure that sets a clear growth where the company is going is very important. It's not just about, the growth is not just about the profit the company is going to make. Like I earlier said, you need to capture the growth of the individual in that, your vision, in that, your plan. Now, like I also said, you can, of course, tell the employee that, oh, don't worry, that these things are in place, we are working on it, blah, 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 blah. Like I said earlier, this is not theory. And in a case whereby you are dealing with smart people, they will be looking at what you are telling them to realistic deadlines and things that are in place. Do you understand? And of course, you have to be very, very, intentional, okay, about this. And that is where, how would I put it, that flexibility, comes in where the leader is allowed, has that power, to implement some changes that we help the organization. Sometimes in an organization, for you to, that this change needs to be done and you know how to do it. But by the time you pass through the processes of deciding with the stakeholders and, decision makers to even implement, that time has gone and someone will leave. So it requires you to be very, very practical, and you need to draw deadlines, very delicate. You might do all of that, and somebody might, sometimes when employees want to leave, it's not that time they come to you that they want to leave. They had already planned to leave, and they have already made their arrangement. Maybe they have gotten jobs somewhere. Somebody might have given them a better offer and all of that. So even if you promise that person you want to pay more, and those deadlines, you didn't put deadlines to those structures, the person might still want to leave. Sometimes characteristics of that person, you might have all those things in place. If that person wants to leave, that person will still leave. I also have that experience. I had that experience in my early stage. So after discussing and promising, okay, I increase your this, this will happen in the future, we are going to this, the person withdrew the resignation letter. And then after like 1 month or two, because there is always that, feeling that, okay, I have made this move. Once it comes in, it will always be going back to the person. And it's not everybody that would want to withstand that change. The person will still leave. There are also people you would have talked to, they will stay. Those are the people that believe in your vision. And don't forget that it's not everybody that will want to join you when you are starting, that will want to stay when you are starting. Not everybody, and it has nothing to do with blaming. You don't blame anybody. Some people are meant to stay with you when you are starting, because there are some challenges they are beyond you. They are beyond you, you can't change. So you need also people who will be able to withstand those challenges, who will be resilient. And then if you have such people, make sure that every point in time, speak for them. Try to speak for them. Try to make sure that they are taken care of. If it is not in your capacity to do certain things, go and fight for it. Those people will believe in you. So, you see some employees, they say, Doc, I'm here because you're here. That kind of things. Because of the way, you fight for them, because of the way they see you as you're truly their leader, you truly have them in mind, and all of. So it depends on both. If this person truly wants to stay, and the leader himself, if this person shows that he truly wants to stay, so how do you relate with that person? How do you make that person, know that, hey, listen, if you really want to stay, I'm ready to even die for you. I'm ready to do anything for you. Do you understand? That person has to believe you. It's not theory. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. I think that has done great justice to that question. So I think we'll just take a few more questions, 2 more questions due to time, and then we can quickly wrap up. We've really overstretched now. So I'll ask Monica. Monica, your hand has been up. Monica, are you here?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Doctor,
Please go
good
ahead with your
afternoon.
question.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my question is, you were talking about having a leader who is self-centered and don't think of his or her subordinates as working under him or her. In such situation, what should you, who knows you are ready to carry people along, you are ready to share your ideas, but based on the fact that he is thinking of just himself alone, is not letting you come out, is not letting you speak out. In such situation, what should one do?
If I talk about politics now, but yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it because, in certain situations, you need to be smart in achieving your goal. Yes, you are interested in bringing yourself out, in showing that, of course, you're making contribution, because we talked about contributing team member, okay? And if you are working in a team, let me tell you this, if the leader does not want this thing to come out, all right? And you make yourself available to other team members. And your fellow team members know that when we come to meeting or when they need something, when they want to know something, when they require some support, that Monica is there to give it to them. She's always available. I mean, this lady is top notch. Let me tell you, one way or the other, you know, like I used to tell people, they play the grassroots politics. That is the strongest politics ever. Once you play that grassroots thing, there is no way it will not spread, it will not filter. I have a student, I don't want to mention his name, but he's very, very big now. He had this same problem, okay? But he kept on, you know, doing the right thing, you know, helping his team members and all of that, until one day, his MD, you know, in a meeting, spotted him. Okay, no, what happened was that he submitted his master's in Rome Business School. He did marketing and communication. He submitted it to his organization. So the MD saw it. Of course, he didn't say anything. So the day they were doing meeting, so he now saw him, I remember, say, you did master's in marketing and communication in Rome Business School. He said, yes. The guy now stood and said, yes. He now started asking the guy question. The guy started now speaking. So opportunity we call, and when the guy started speaking, other people who know the guy, but the guy is not in their department, supported him and said, yes, 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 this. Today the guy is a member, he's an AGM. He had 3 promotions, at least I think in 1 or 2 years, consecutively. I know some people here might know the person I'm talking about. I don't want to mention his name, you know. So it can come in different ways. You can't force it. You will not come and maybe fight with your leader, but play the grassroots politics, and it will filter to those who are in charge, and you will shine. You will come out, and it has happened sometimes. Even the leader will be removed, and you now be the leader. So sometimes subtle politicking might even come into these things. It's not bad. It's as long as it will help the organization to grow, to be sustainable, and you are not plotting to remove anybody or you know, victimize anybody. So you continue doing the right thing and make sure you are supporting your team members. They are seeing it. They are talking about it. That's what I can advise on that.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. And I hope, Monica, that answers your question. I mean, we have quite a number of hands up, but I want to, at this point, sincerely apologize to my fellow students and participants. Say, I mean, we can't take all of these questions. You could do well by just typing down your questions. The admin guys will take up these questions, and then we'll definitely reach out to you. We've exhausted the allotted time, and I just want to sincerely appreciate Doctor for his time. We appreciate your insightful teachings and lectures, and I mean, I'm sure we've learned quite a number of new stuff from here, and we are all grateful for providing us this privilege to have you on this program today. Thank you very much, sir. So on this note, I want to call on Idowu Adeleke to just make some announcements before we could just take the closing remarks. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Idowu. Are you online?
Yes.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
All right. My sincere appreciation to Dr. Onfra Kanazu for the very insightful section. It's been an awesome time on this section. Also to our moderator, Mr. Steven. So my name is Idowu Adeleke, a team lead in the admissions department of Rome Business School. Okay, so Basically, it's just to introduce Run Business School and then also to encourage our prospects on this call. Okay, so this is just a tip of the iceberg. Dr. Humphrey Akanazu is one of the faculty members also, as he acts as also the country director of Run Business School. And this is just you having a tip of it. So for the classes, you'll be having a whole lot more, for all of the classes for the master's program. And for our prospects on this call, this is a very good time for you to come on board for the different master's programs that we have. Okay, and then we're talking about an institution that has 20 master's programs right now. We have 16 executive master's program, and then also 4 of the international master's program. So you're welcome to join these different master's programs that we have. Reach out to your admission advisor, conclude the admission process, and then come on board for the different master's program. I usually tell my prospects, there are 3 principal reasons you should join the master's program at this time. So one is for you to benefit from insightful webinars like this. Okay, this is, you would all agree with me that this is just it. It's the apex of it. It's so insightful, relevant for mid-level managers, relevant for C-suite managers. You're talking about strategic management, talking about strategic leadership. This is what is in vogue. So that's one. Secondly, why you should come on board now is for you to enjoy the early bird scholarship. Okay, this is what Rome Business School is able to offer at this time. Okay, to prospect signing up in the month of April. And then thirdly is the flexibility in payments. Okay, so those coming on board now, they have better flexibility in payments so that they can actually come on board and enjoy the other benefits that is in for these programs. Okay, so thank you so much, Doctor. It was a very, very insightful one. Thank you, Mr. Stephen, for moderating this section. I wish us all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Shamaka. Please just go ahead.
Thank you so much, Saido. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Thank you so much, Dr. Humphrey, for joining this section and actually speaking to our students today. So I would like to thank everyone that's joined this section, and thank you for your time as well. I know we have exhausted our time, but thank you so much for staying with us. For all of us that are asking for the slide, I would encourage that you fill the survey that was sent to you. Sent it in the chat box. You can fill it with your correct email and phone number so we can share the slides of the webinar for you and the recording as well. And also for our April students, we would like to use this opportunity to welcome you all and to inform you about the one-on-one section with the career advisor. So you can do well to book that as well. And our speaker for today, Dr. Humphrey Akanazu, is on Instagram, is on LinkedIn. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn as well. For some of you that we didn't answer their questions, you can reach out to Dr. Humphrey on LinkedIn as Humphrey Akanazu. And also the moderator as well is also on LinkedIn. You can also connect with him on LinkedIn as well. So if you ask him your questions, he will respond to you via LinkedIn. And also for students that have not been able to fill the form, I could see that some persons are commenting that they are unable to fill the form. You can actually refresh your page and fill the form to come up when you refresh your page. So thank you so much for joining and have a nice day. So on behalf of the country director, on behalf of our Dean, Professor Agusa, and every of us here in Career Service Department, Sarah, the head of department, Justina, and Victor as well. We want to thank you once again for joining and wish you a nice day ahead. Thank you. Bye.